RPR 180 Literary Practice Test. Ready? Here we go. Many great musicians and athletes, after they reach the apex of their performing and athletic careers, continue practicing to hone their skills and competence to a finer degree. Two examples are Pablo Casals, the well-known cellist, and Reggie Miller, the legendary guard for the Indiana Pacers. An article on the internet, "Practice Makes You Perfect," discussed both men. A reporter once asked Pablo Casals, "You're 95 and the greatest cellist who ever lived. Why do you still practice 6 hours a day?" Pablo Casals replied, "Because I think I'm making progress." When he was retiring, Reggie Miller was asked how he managed to be competitive and to score more points than younger basketball players. His reply was that he practices every day between sessions while the younger players take a vacation. Although court reporters do not have subjective elements such as musicality on which to work, musicians, athletes, and court reporters do share a common goal. We must continue to refine our techniques so we can perform at a higher level of competence. Increasing competence directly translates into more free time, more money, and increased job satisfaction. However, many court reporters think their jobs constitute their practice time. It is true that writing an expert who is trying to break the land speed barrier for hours on end can do much for one's speed. However, there are elements in writing that can be refined away from the job. When honed, those skills can lead to increased job productivity. Reporters practice for a variety of reasons: improving one's skills and therefore decreasing editing time, practicing for certification exams, practicing for contests. Karen Yates, RPR, CRR, CCR, CBC, and NCRA President-elect from Minden, Nevada, believes practice is a non-negotiable part of our work. There is no way to maintain the high speed necessary without pushing our limits and keeping skills at their peak levels. The payoff is cleaner transcripts, faster editing, and the best part, less stress while attempting to keep up with today's fast-talking judges, lawyers, and other speakers. Barbara Lightcap, RDR of Greensburg, Pennsylvania, has been a court reporter for more than 30 years. She has always practiced to pass a certification exam. Attaining higher certifications is the prevalent reason people practice after completing school. Tori Pittman, RDR, CRI of Wake Forest, North Carolina, says, "I practice because I need to get better, more consistent. I'm striving for the CRR, CCP certifications, and I need to really clean up my writing style to be more efficient." However, others practice for the same reason that Pablo Casals and Reggie Miller practiced, to improve their skills. Catherine Bauer, RPR of Danville, California, remarks, "One of the reasons I was attracted to the profession was the need for constant learning and self-improvement. My practice stems partly from that facet of the profession. I really believe that if you don't keep progressing, you will inevitably fall behind." Pittman also says, "Frankly, my work is not consistent. When I do practice and then go to a deposition, I feel much more competent." Ed Hawkins, RMR, CRR of Washington, D.C., was an official in a district court for 10 years. He says nothing motivates you to practice any better than the stress of a high-pressure court. G. Allen Sontag, RDR, CRR, FAPR of Tucson, Arizona, says he still practices after all this time. He says why practice after attaining certifications is to keep the speed and make sure you're not slipping. It's a very efficient form of self-testing. Sontag learned about the importance of practicing early in his career. "When I was a baby reporter, I worked in court for some officials who were relatives. I was ordered to use a tape backup. No questions, just do it. I quickly discovered how inefficient that was to play things back over and over. I deduced that if I got my speed way up, for example, certificate of merit, I could tell them to take the tapes away. So I did, and I did." Sontag's interest in contests began when he passed the merit certificate at the NCRA annual convention in Detroit, Michigan in August 1963. While there, he met Bill Cohen, who suggested to me that I wrote a very good testimony paper, the only leg I needed, 12 errors at 260, and I should write the speed contest. Sontag started competing in speed contests that year, and he qualified for the speed contest 14 years later in 1977. As he recalls, "I'm not a natural. It has been a lot of hard work. What got me over the top was practice, tinkering with my outlines, fixing the hesitations, even back then in the 60s and 70s. It is the same thing reporters talk about today." Alan Brock, RDR, CRR of Boston, Massachusetts, has reaped the benefits of practice at every stage of my development as a reporter after graduation to winning the National Speed Contest. Purposeful, efficient practice has made my job easier, more lucrative, and more enjoyable, and that in a nutshell is why I have practiced in the past and why I have continued to practice. All right, that will conclude our RPR 180 Literary Practice Test. 180 Literary Practice Test.